The more things change, the more that we knew that it was the same. Hey, y'all, gravity. Any day above ground, live it. Hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. We're not going to be here long, but I just want y'all to understand MAGA ain't doing well in 2025. I know. That's all you talk about is MAGA. Yes, we're going to terrorize them as often as we can because, as I have documented and we've proven, and we're going to prove again today, MAGA is full of liberals and liberal-minded people. You've been infiltrated. The liberals run the government, and they suckered you in thinking that you were going to fight tyranny. You became the oppressor. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'd rather you admit it. Your president you voted for was supposed to fight the swamp. He became the swamp, but y'all don't want to say nothing about that, right? Huh. Every time a situation comes out, y'all don't want to blame yourselves. You want to blame everybody else. Okay. I want y'all to take a look at that tweet that's on the screen. Because if you saw the thumbnail and the title, you may not know where I'm going to go with this. But most of y'all probably will later understand why I went there. Matt Walsh wants gun control. Speaking from someone who has guns, we're going to prove the hypocrisy of this statement later. Matt Walsh decided to write this in the wake of what happened with the Minnesota school shooting. This man wrote, I have multiple guns. I've never murdered anyone in life. Murderer. That's what he said. Somehow, even with my guns, I've never experienced the temptation to spray bullets into a church. It turns out that if you aren't a mentally ill freak, having a gun isn't a problem at all. We're going to prove this later that he's a hypocrite. But he did that in response to something that Stephen King said in regards to what happened. They said that it's not people killing people. It was the gun. Then he went outside, and this is where I'd say they don't want to save the country. They just want to be celebrities. He wrote another tweet that y'all can go fact check me on this, that he was happy that he somehow got Stephen King to blame the trans person. Something to that effect. No, Nene, he murdered that sentence. But Matt, it didn't go well for you in this thread because they were cooking you badly. But we have seen something over here, family, in the course of our research. We have seen a lot of MAGA lately advocate for gun control. And a lot of these MAGA idiots have guns. You don't believe me. I figured you didn't. That's why we come with receipts. I'm finna show you something. You ready? I think you're ready. Look at what I found from February 26th. Let me go shut this light off. February 26th. This is from Travis Matthew. Decent following. Gun violence restraining order. Trump and AG Pam Bondi are going to take away guns from people who have not been convicted of a felony. Where the hell is the Republican outrage? Where's Laura Boebert and Fox News saying, hell no, you're not taking our guns? Again, Laura Boebert has guns. Please report this. I want as many MAGA followers as possible to see this. I'd love to hear your reactions. Let's play the video. Now remember, this is Red Flag Bondi, Baker Act Bondi. Give me something.
Bring in something called the Gun Violence Restraining Order.
Gun violence restraining order.
Violence restraining order.
Talk.
So if someone is civilly committed And yet typically you can hold them for up to 72 hours, but people are getting out within 24 hours, the majority of them. So what we want to do is let law enforcement come in and take the guns.
Good.
Remember when she said that? We played this on the channel when she said it. And we also showed reactions of MAGA when she said it, how pissed off they were. And this was one of the main things that had them start turning on her. Remember, we did that beautiful live when I was outside and I was going down the administration and how they were DEI and how they weren't qualified for a job. And this is one of the things I pointed out. Oh, they got upset. But let's hear some more.
They're a danger to themselves.
Which you can't
or
do right
others.
now.
Well, because without being adjudicated. So because they're a danger to themselves.
You want them to take the guns and
When they are
not
committed.
go through 6 months of legal trials and everything.
Exactly. But we also have to give the mentally ill the due process in which they deserve, President.
The mentally ill, give them their due process. You heard what she said. I'm going to play it again.
We also have to give the mentally ill the due process in which they deserve, President. So
And we just saw what Matt Walsh said. Damn their due process. Just take the guns. This is what people have been trying to teach you for years. They take both sides of the argument. Give me some more.
So what we're doing is they're going to be able to take the guns when they're taken into custody or into the hospital. And then when they're released, within 24 hours or 72 hours later, typically it's 24 hours, the law enforcement will have 72 hours to determine whether they should give those guns back or they can go to a judge and say, Your Honor, please keep these guns.
And I told y'all that was stupid. Because what's your criteria for somebody to be mentally ill? What is your criteria going to be to take somebody's guns away? Matt Walsh is advocating for trans people to get their guns taken based on the fact that they're mentally ill. I'm going to say something very dangerous later, but we're going to play this next video.
I am here to say hell no, you're not. I have 4 children, I'm 5'0", 100 pounds, cannot really defend myself with a fist. I want to know how you're going to legislate that because a criminal by defense breaks the law. So all you're going to do is restrict law-abiding citizens like myself.
Oops. So hell no, you're not going to take her gun.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Listen, this is what happened when you bring truth and facts to an emotional support debate or an emotional support rally. I get it. I understand. People are heartbroken, and most of those people are very ignorant to what guns are, how they're by laws and policies already govern them, and more importantly, where we're already falling short. My question to Beto would be much shorter. Okay, you've explained very well how you're going to try to take guns away from law-abiding citizens. Now tell us how you're going to take guns away from criminals and killers. And then you would hear a long pause. You would hear some sort of stuttering, and he would probably tell you a story about how he's sorry he's a privileged young man growing up.
Right.
Oh, criminals. What constitutes a criminal? So if you jaywalk and you own guns, should you get your guns taken? Now, a normal human being who is a cop might say, nah, here's a summons, go answer that in court. Your Palantir AI, though, when you do that jaywalking, they will pull up from a CCTV camera your whole life. And if they find a couple red flags, you will be visited by the police. That was the other point of this live. I want y'all to understand how dangerous this AI that's integrated into the government is going to be. But remember how I said Matt Walsh is a hypocrite and the trans person and trans people shouldn't have guns? I'm about to prove him a hypocrite. Because guess who owns guns that I don't think he would have enough nuts to go outside and say something about. Oops. Well, look at that. For those who can't see. Now, I've mentioned this person a few times on the channel. This is Blair White, conservative, political commentator, transgender conservative. Now, mind you, when we did that live and we were explaining how at CPAC and Turning Point USA, they were out there talking about how righteous they were and how they really don't hate trans people, it's just a political agenda. It's funny that they had Blair White at Turning Point USA speaking to people, but they had no problem with it. Matt Walsh, if you think all trans people should not have guns, then Blair White should have been the first person on your list. This is the most prominent transgender conservative y'all got. But she's not on the left. That's why you didn't say anything. You're a hypocrite, sir. Why do I say that? Well, Blair White, as she has shown in videos, has an impressive gun collection. She has been known to do collaborative streams and video uploads with gun YouTube, what they like to call gun tubers. Why aren't you going after her? According to your criteria, she's mentally ill because she's transgender. I'm just asking these questions. Isn't that not an impressive gun? Pause, but we just showed this. Yeah, why aren't you saying something? She's mentally ill, sir. This is nasty. Look, she's on a tank. Huh. Guns. Guns. What else? Why is she not mentally ill, sir? Guns. 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 Now, I know the fellas are going to yell at me later because this is a whole tranny. Look, somebody did a video. She posed with a gun in a prom dress, loses scholarship. Huh. That's crazy. I don't like the fact that her gun is right next to her head, but, you know, that's okay. Guns. She even got an old gun. Now they're going to tell me these are Nerf guns. These are not Nerf guns. These are real. Guns. Why is she not mentally ill, sir? Matt Walsh, you're a hypocrite. And by the way, she also exposed the fact that Elijah Schaffer has allegedly been with men. That's another confirmation, allegedly. But, you know, that's not what we're here about today. Listen to what Matt said.
It's now widely understood that we don't need gun control. We need transgender control. Finally eliminate.
Talk about it, Matt. Go ahead. Because this is your wheelhouse. You love talking about trannies. Isn't that wonderful? We need transgender control. You want to control people now. They don't even hide it.
For the massive blind spot that exists in this country concerning violence that's committed.
By the way, he said that 9 days ago.
Transgender population.
8 days ago.
There's simply no good way to track it, and no one's even trying. The federal government doesn't maintain any kind of database that lists crimes by trans-identifying individuals. They probably should have that database. We obviously need one, but one doesn't. They
want a database for tracking trans people. Huh. More government control. I thought MAGA was trying to kill the swamp. Why are you adding to the swamp? What's the matter, MAGA? I know it's Saturday. It's football Saturday. Come on now. Football don't start for another 15, 20 minutes. Come on now. Explain this to us. Why are you in favor of this? Why are you listening to Matt Walsh? Look, blame everybody else, but nah, y'all listen to him say, I want more government control. I want people put on lists. Remember, they said criminals back in February. They're going to label trans people criminals. You watch what I tell you, and we know what that's going to open it up to. A loose determination on what a criminal is. And if you got skin like this, you're already behind the 8 ball. Let's continue.
Doesn't exist at the moment. Media outlets are terrified of stigmatizing the quote-unquote trans community. And so, for all practical purposes, we only ever hear about a violent crime committed by a trans-identifying individual if there's a mass casualty event in which many people are either murdered or seriously injured.
Yet you could go on and look up these stories, because I'm sure there's trans people committing crimes all over the country, but y'all don't want to go look those up because it's not sexy enough. Nobody's going to care. Continue, Matthew.
And then it becomes much harder to cover up, which means that...
Patrick, if you think the left is dead, this is what's going to cause y'all to lose in 2026. Y'all better realize that they're starting to wake up. And I'm not on the left. I'm just warning y'all now. That attitude that y'all think the left is dead is the reason why you didn't landslide in 2022 during the midterms and get back the House and the Senate. That attitude is the reason why Warnock got his seat. You better stop. You better realize you have about 14 months. A lot can happen. You better stop. But if you want to continue thinking like that, that's cool. Go ahead. I'm sure you'll disagree. And when we do the stream here that night and Republicans lose hella seats, they lose their gubernatorial races, they lose their mayoral races, I don't want to hear how this country went crazy. I don't want to hear it, because I'm going to refer right back to this on September 6th, 2025, when I told you, stop underestimating the left. They're purging their psychopaths and their paid and bought shills right now. They need new messaging. They're trying to transform themselves. I would pay attention to that. And they're going to use what Matt Walsh is doing and the rest of MAGA doing, talking about gun control, and they're going to start advocating for gun rights. You watch what I tell you. Continue.
In those cases, that's the only time we'll actually hear about the transgender connection, even though in those cases also, of course, the media doesn't want to talk about it. And yet even...
the media literally was talking about it, Matt, for years before y'all jumped on the bandwagon. Again, the chick out there in Connecticut who brought to light them 2 black transsexuals or transgenders that won that race, she literally started it. Y'all didn't care until she started going public. And then what happened? Y'all pushed her out the way and took over the story. I bet you if I ask y'all who her name is, y'all couldn't tell me. Bet you couldn't. By the way, he looks like an asshole, so screenshot.
With that caveat in mind...
See? Patrick just proved it again. Y'all still on that deportation. This is why y'all are gonna lose. Boy, I tell you, what did I say earlier when we started this live, family? The left still runs the government. Jesus. Okay.
It's not hard to see that the trans population is quite prolific when it comes to antisocial...
Look, the Democrats cheating now.
Snokia Mosley, a self-identified transgender individual, killed.
I don't know what the fuck he talking about. I was going to jigglypuff him, but anyway, here we go again. Now the Democrats are going to cheat. Okay, nah, they're not just going to coast off y'all's mistakes. All right, they can't go say, you know what, the tariffs ain't working. The jobs reports at the second half of the year are terrible. People still can't afford homes. Y'all are trying to gut museums. Y'all are fucking with people's scholarships and ways to pay for college. Yeah, they don't have to do none of that. They don't have to start prepping Andy Bashir or Josh Shapiro or, God forbid, Gavin Newsom to go run in 28 against DeSantis. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. They're going to cheat. Not the will of the people. They're going to go out there and say, nothing changed. The man lied to me for 2 years. I'm tired. I need something new. Maybe the Democrats weren't that bad and switch right back. Okay, you're right. That ain't going to happen. All right. Okay. Sure. And we'll be right here that night when that happens. When the Democrats have the majority back in the House. And Trump can't do nothing for 2 years because it's going to block everything he did. And y'all going to be sitting up here saying they cheated. Beautiful. Back to what we were talking about, though. You think I was telling a lie? It was just Trump and Red Flag Bondi and Fox News talking about that and Matt Walsh? Hell no. Hey, Torian, if you're still here, the chick that you said was a failed actress, which she is, look like she tried to cross back over to the center. She figured out she couldn't griff off black people this week, so she said, we're going to do this. MAGA, gun control doesn't work. Criminals don't abide by laws. Also, MAGA, ban trans people from owning guns. Called them clowns. Huh. Ban trans people from having guns, then the blacks. It's the MAGA way. See? What I tell you? Patrick thinks I need mental health. Good. Be here November 3rd, 2026. When we show you when the Democrats win. And I'm going to stand right there. I'm just going to keep doing this. I dare you to say something. You'll probably go on your social media again and cry that they stole the elections again, right? Okay. All right. There's that. You think she was the only one? Hell no. Look at Evan Kilgore. Transgender people should not be allowed to own guns. Who agrees? They community noted this man, definitely not Evan Kilgore, who argued that guns rights are trans rights on January 20th, 2020. Where's the post? I'm surprised he left it up. Look at that 4th family. Hey, Jim B, listen, put down the whiskey for a minute and think about this. Y'all all do this every year. It doesn't matter what side it is. Y'all say because you're in power, the other side ain't got a chance. And what happens? We get to the midterms and y'all get y'all ass kicked. And then the other side get to celebrate and then y'all start talking about how the shit is rigged and it's just this big cabal of people trying to fuck with us. Yes, they all work for the same people, you dickhead. I get it, though. Trump came back and y'all think MAGA's forever. Y'all are going to die on November 3rd, 2026. Y'all are going to die. And die a horrible death. And my thumbnail will be that night a tombstone with MAGA on it, 2016 to 2026. Because you assholes don't listen. Your people have already admitted it. This is all about a culture war. They don't give a shit about this country. They want to be able to get into the news and TMZ. That's it. Yo MAGA people that are in the government and working for the government are more concerned with being on the cover of magazines that y'all call woke instead of fixing this country. And I've got something coming up later in the week that's going to prove that. They've already admitted it. Look what they did with South Park. You're supposed to be fixing the country. Why do you care about what South Park is doing and how they look at you? They clown almost everybody. Yeah, look. Somebody says America fuck yeah, and now he crying. Look at him crying. Oh, you mad? Oh, look at him. Oh. Who's paying me? Shit. I wish I was getting $8,000 a month. Shit. Let me help you. I shit on both sides, so I don't know who the hell paying me. I ain't Tucker Carlson. I don't take money from the Middle East. Nobody paying me. But okay. I'm revealing shit that their side is saying and they're getting upset at me. Y'all ain't gonna go see them? Let me help you again, MAGA, since you didn't hear this. Your side wants gun control now. I thought y'all were for the Second Amendment. Hey fam, this Joshua person really think I'm getting paid by somebody. Okay, Josh, go ahead. Spend your time. Tell us who's paying me. Who paying me? I check my bank account every day. Ain't no big deposits in there. Because it's not the Democrats, because I shit on them all the time. And it damn sure ain't the right, because I shit on them all the time. So who paying me? Libertarians don't like me. So I don't know. Who is it? I tell you, they dumb. Everybody now is you against them. You getting paid. Again, the government is full of liberals. They know how to work, y'all. You saw a report about the Democrats paying off these people through Chorus Media. You think now they get paid. Guess what? MAGA has been paid now to go shill for India. Go after them. You won't do it. Roland ain't got enough money for me. And Roland blocked me, so that message will never get through. Damn, I can't even get... Yo, Bzilla, it's so bad I can't even get people to come on the platform now. But I'm being paid. Y'all ain't seen me around on nobody else's platform except Torians. But they paying me. Damn. But we got more. We definitely got more. Now, this may not be real, but I want y'all to look at this. This is from Roger Stone now. Allegedly, they say he wrote this. Some people saying he didn't, but we just going to put it out there for context. Oh, Weldon Johnson, no. See, that's the end game. When you go check white people, then you'll know it's serious. They got to start with the worst. I shouldn't say the worst. They should start with the people that's going to give them the least resistance, which is trans people. Then they're going to move up to us. We're like I wouldn't say, we're the lieutenant that gives the hero the most problems. Then they'll think about going after white people, but they'll use the AI to do it for plausible deniability. So this says from the office of Roger Stone to Trump on March 22nd, 2024. Now, Susan Wiles, remember, this is the chick that runs the White House. So looked like this plan was already in place, but okay. As we discussed over the phone, when reelected, I believe you need to address the sticky issue of the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms by our opponents and enemies. We can get around the gun issue with our base by promising a fix in early 2025 that won't affect patriots. The fix could include a new licensing program that will ensure our enemies can't get guns by empowering the FBI and local law enforcement with the right to confiscate guns of anyone deemed to be an enemy of the state. That's what he said, allegedly. We can decide the parameters that would determine what actually is an enemy later on so the base doesn't flip out. Please let me know whether you would like me to draw up some plans for this for your review. An ardent Trump supporter wrote this, but Y'all get mad at me for bringing it to light. Y'all get mad at me because you won't say nothing to the person that tweeted it, but me going in depth on it, I'm wrong. Because maybe I don't want people to have their gun rights infringed on. Because that's really the only weapon we have against the government, the Second Amendment. But, you know, let's keep the left away from getting guns, okay? So who's going to have the guns? The right? You just became the enemy. Guess y'all didn't think about that, right? Y'all are advocating for gun control in an AI world. You dumb motherfuckers. Yes, there's more guns in America than people. Great. Guess what? Matt Walsh just admitted he had a bunch of guns. Now, here's the thing I was going to say that was very dangerous. I think Matt Walsh is mentally ill based on how he be talking on his platforms. I think you need to take his guns. Now, let's see how many people in this chat would agree with me that are not black. Black family, I don't want y'all to answer that. Y'all got your own opinions. It's going to muddy the waters. I want all MAGA and white people, even if you black MAGA, listen to what I just said. I think Matt Walsh is mentally ill based on how he talked on his platform. I think he needs to have his guns taken. Let me see how many of y'all would agree with me saying that. Go ahead. Not chat, I know you black. Delete that. Come on, MAGA. Tell me. I think Matt Walsh should have his guns taken. I'm going to show y'all how y'all don't think. Come on, American, fuck up. Come on. I know you got opinions on that. Matt Walsh should have his guns taken. Let's play that game. Oops! What is this? Should schizophrenics be allowed to own guns? Yes. Tim Pool on why we must stop selectively deciding when to uphold the Second Amendment as it's written. Look at Tim Pool. He's gonna piss Mag off.
I have a question for a piece of
Ooh, see what I told y'all, family? Oh, level-headed. Oh. So him talking about black people in a negative light, him talking about white people in a negative light, him talking about Hispanics in a negative light, him talking about transgenders in a negative light. That's not being mentally ill. Told you he was going to defend it. There you go, right there. And he can't write. I think you're mentally ill too. I think you should have your guns taken since you can't decipher if I'm poverty stricken because you have stereotypes in your head that are masking how you think. I think you're mentally ill. I think you should have your guns taken. See how stupid y'all sound? You see how dumb that statement I just said sounds? That's how y'all sound right now. You just proved to me, American fuck up, that you have criteria. So you don't believe in the Second Amendment. But let's hear what Tim Pool had to say.
Yeah, because you said no, right? Like trans people should not have guns.
Yes. Do you agree?
Do you believe that? I think the answer is yes. I think they should be allowed to have guns. I don't think the Second Amendment says that you have the right to keep and bear arms unless you're found deficient by the state. But do you think
that's a problem? Why are you letting the state determine if you can't have guns? Both sides of the argument.
Under the DSM-5, certain mental disorders would disqualify you from owning guns?
Correct, yeah. But transgender.
Yes, I heard about that.
So this is important.
Yeah.
You're basically saying that you have a personal opinion.
It should be.
Hold on. What you're saying is, here's a list of mental disorders. You have an opinion that some should or should not be disqualified.
Yeah.
I think none of them should be disqualified.
Okay, so schizophrenic should be allowed to own guns?
Yes.
No.
The Second Amendment says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. You got a problem with it? Amend it.
Okay, I mean...
You really think you're going to amend the Second Amendment? I mean, they would love to do that. That ain't going to work. Woo! So MAGA, so you have people on there on your side that are saying amend the Second Amendment to include the DSM-5 manual. So we're gonna bring science into the Constitution. Boy, this is, we didn't have this on the bingo card. We did not. MAGA for gun control. Change the Constitution to make us feel better. This is wonderful. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. And the fact that y'all don't think that y'all being controlled like Pinocchio, that's just the funnier part. Look, Democrats use high crime plus strict gun control. Oh, here we go. But he said that the trans person shouldn't have guns. By the way, this is the same individual who said he went to Israel with the Christian coalition during that interview with Netanyahu and said he got spit on. Why would you admit that? But, you know, we could. If they're going to talk about gun control after every mass shooting, then they're also going to need to talk about trans violence. If guns should be locked up, then so should the mentally and say, this is the shit that I'm talking about. And y'all getting worked by this. ACC, again, most of MAGA is liberal. They're converted liberals. They want gun control. They thought before the pandemic that gun control was going to be exclusively for the, not gun control, sorry, gun ownership was going to be exclusively for them. They didn't realize after the pandemic, a whole bunch of subsectors in this country started getting guns. Now they're threatened. They can't say black people can't have guns because they're going to get ripped apart. They're going to have to start somewhere and show that it actually works, then go after black people. The fact I'm listening, again, since you just got here, I'm listening to Matt Walsh, and we all listen to Matt Walsh say that there should be transgenders banned from owning guns, yet we have a transgender on his side that owns guns. Yeah. That's them. So new Epic Entertainment, I just proved it. There's one right here. He says those are rights, right? So why did he say then, where is it? Where's my thing? Let me see. It's probably in this one. Yeah, there we go. He didn't say it, right? You just saw that text. Here you go. Transgender people should not be allowed to own guns. He just said in 2020 they should be able to have guns. There. But go ahead. Matt Walsh just said that trans people shouldn't own guns. They're mentally ill. He just said it. Would you like to see his tweet again? I'll show it. Where is it? And then I got to get out of here because I got to get to work. And this is one of your big voices right there. It turns out if you aren't a mentally ill freak, having a gun isn't a problem at all. He's basically saying transgender people are mentally ill. That is gun control. Oh my God, he doesn't know what gun control is. If you tell somebody they can't have guns, that's gun control. Oh my God. What do you think gun control is? You're infringing on people from owning guns and the things associated with guns. That's gun control. You're limiting the people on how many guns they can have. What does control mean? Oh my Lord. Let me help you, new Epic Entertainment. These are the same folk who were sitting around there in the first term and up until this point saying that we about the Second Amendment. And again, I ask, if he's about that, then why didn't he call out Blair White? Surely, since he wants to talk about how transgenderism is a problem, Blair White should be a problem, right? Blair White should own guns. But we know why he don't say that. Because she's a conservative. A transgender conservative. There you go. Y'all got mad at Pam Bondi in February for talking about taking people guns. Here we are 6 months later. Talking about taking people's guns. Oh boy. You have many a right-winger talking about gun control. All of a sudden because a transgender person shot up a school. Huh. Maybe that's why they were laughing at Jimmy Carter's funeral. Oh, you left? You didn't want to say nothing else? Come on now. This is why I say you should come in here, address the room, and listen to the conversation before you talk. See? Trump did gun control. But again, they allowed it. Because it was Trump. Let Biden or Kamiami would have done this, which they did. Remember, Biden was trying to pass gun control. Guess what? Didn't MAGA not come outside and yell at him for doing this? They wanted this. They just didn't like the fact that it was the other side. They didn't want to give them a win. Now, again, I ain't for gun control. You should be able to own guns. But we just showing you how hypocritical MAGA is. I think that's why why they're really happy that he's going to go to Chicago. He's going to send troops to Chicago. That way they could be all happy. Look how many guns we got off the street. We shouldn't allow criminals to have guns in these big cities. We should be pushing for lessening gun stuff in these cities. Take both sides of the argument. These cities are going to be safer without all these guns, and then it's going to get worse. Oh, they're importing the criminals now, like they did in 2020. No, not Chad. What she's saying is, yes, the 2A is regulated by the Fed. But what these MAGA people are doing, and this was probably going to be the last thing I was going to bring up, they're also trying to play with them at the state level. Because as we know, every state has a different criteria for guns. And Trump was the same one that said he wants to put rights back to the states based on what's going on with the federal. That's why I said they're taking both sides of the argument. Pam Bondi's from Florida. She was in favor of red flag laws. She has Fed power now. What's to say that she doesn't recommend to this man put red flag laws all over the country and mandate every state to have red flag laws? That's gun control. And this woman has guns. Remember, they said down here in Georgia, they're going to get rid of the weapon license permit. You don't need it. They thought Georgia was going to go crazy with guns. It hasn't happened yet. Here we go. Mental illness and drugs. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to ask you again, Jody, since you just walked in here. Should this transgender have their guns taken? I'm finna pull it up. Where is it? That's a transgender person. Should they have their gun taken? Carl, driving a car is a luxury. And that's a state, and that's state. Now they're also pushing it into the federal. Now what? You don't even get it. Real ID is federal and it's mandated now for every state. Now what? Woo! Well, let me help you, Tony, and good morning. MAGA don't know the difference between constitutional carry. They don't. Because constitutionally, this person should be allowed to have a gun. But Matt Walsh has told everybody that transgender people shouldn't own guns. This is a transgender. Logic. I literally just read it. Oh, Lord. Tony, you got to go. I was going to give you a shot, but okay. Okay. I was going to give him a shot, but then he acted stupid. There you go. And that's how you get rid of them, family. Just let them talk. I understand why you guys are mad. You can't go to your people and say, how are you advocating for gun control? I understand. Can we not fight in the chat amongst each other, please? Unless it's spirited debate. But anyway, y'all. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I try to be better next time. Got to be careful with people who say they have your best interests at heart and then they start pulling crap like this. This is a form of control. They want to be the elitists. These are the folk who sucked at being, up until the right age of Trump getting into the presidency, they were losers. Now all of a sudden they want to talk about taking away people's rights. Gotta watch them. But anyway, I will see y'all when I see y'all. Talks will be on Tuesday because I have to work Monday. We're going to have an interesting subject. That's when we're going to do the Alex Jones, Owen Schroyer beef. That was funny. And how that also translates into right-wing media starting to fracture. So y'all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Y'all take care. Stay when we get Killian Trump next week. They've been moving my schedule around so much, so I haven't been able to sit down and actually start processing that video. So You will have it next week. So y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.